everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I hope you're all doing really well. In today's video we are going to be making this gorgeous Big Brother card. I designed this for a friend of mine who's just had a baby and she's also got a 3-year-old. So I thought what I'd do is make him a personalised Big Brother card to make him feel a little bit special. So without any further ado, let's jump into how to design and make this card. Just before we get started then in the project, let's run through everything that we're going to use for this particular design. So for setting up your mat and all that sort of stuff, I've got my brayer, I've got my scissors, I have some masking tape here. It is this 3M101E. I use this quite a lot if my mat isn't quite sticky enough. Now this mat that I'm using, it's been used a lot and it isn't as sticky as I would like it to be, so I'm probably going to utilise some of this just to help hold down my cardstock to make sure it doesn't move, make sure I get a really nice clean cut from it. Then I've got some foam pads. I might or might not use these. These are 5mm thick. They are the thicker version. If you don't have these on hand, you can always use the thinner ones and just double them up. I've done that before a lot of times and it's quite a successful way of doing it. Then I have got my glue in my needlepoint bottle. This is Collall all-purpose glue in here, but you can use whichever glue you like. If you don't want to use glue, you can use tape or whatever you like personally. Then today I'm going to be using a pre-cut, pre-scored card. This is a 17cm square card. It's already made for me and so is the envelope, and I find that just so much easier when I'm making cards because I don't keep the big pieces of cardstock on hand to be able to make an envelope and a card this size. Then I'm going to be using some bits that I've obviously used pieces of before. So I've got this orange glitter, I've got this turquoise glitter, and I think these colours remind me a lot of Miami Dolphins, and I quite like that paired again with that white. Just looks really, really nice together, so I'm going to use those. I've got this gold here as well. I'm not sure why I've got that. I don't think I'm going to be using that today. But these are the 3 colours that I've picked out for this card, and then of course my standard grip cutting mat is at the bottom here waiting for me as well. So let's jump into Design Space and quickly run through the design that I'm going to be using today. This is the design that we're going to be using then. I've decided to go quite bright with it because Carter is only 3 years old. So I thought it would be nice for it to be nice and bright for him, which is why I've chosen the orange. I'm using like a turquoisey green and then the white glitter as well, which I think will look really nice for him. As I say, he's only 3, so it will be nice for him to have that. I am going to quickly run through everything that's in this design. So there's several different layers in this particular project. It's a quick and easy one to make. The most time consuming thing is putting it together at the end. So if I come over to my layers panel on the right hand side, you can see I've got one big group of everything here. So if I click on that drop down box, you can see everything that I've got in here. So there are a couple of Cricut Access images, and then I've put in the text for the name myself as well. So if you come over here and just, I'm going to ungroup everything actually so we can work on it all separately. So this is the Cricut Access image, and it was on here exactly like this. Oh, there we go, image info. If I click on it, it's going to show you that image, and it's going to show you it in its original form. So this is the image code just here, and then this is what it looked like to start with. So I've changed the colours on there, and then the other thing I've put on there is the name Carter, and all I did for that was just chose a similar font. It is called Varsity. It's very similar to the one that the word big is in. It does have normally a coloured insert. Whoopsie. It does have normally a coloured insert with it, but I've decided to delete that so that it's just cut out, and then I'm going to just pop it onto the centre. Now the one thing to remember when I'm doing this is that if I zoom in, you'll see that on these letters I've got, like on the A, the triangle, and on the R, this section here, it will cut and be separate, and you will have to get that and glue it on to your card. It won't be attached in any way unless you add a little attachment to that letter, but I'm not going to do that today. So that is the card. It's pretty basic. We've got these 2 squares then to create a frame, give the card a little bit more depth and make it a little bit more interesting as well. I'm going to now go through to make, and we're going to have a look at how the mats are set up. So this is just the white glitter section, perfectly simple, nice simple square there that's going to cut, and then we've got the orange with the Big Brother, then the dark turquoisey matte, and we've got the big square on it, and then the big, and then Carter. So that is our 3 mats. It's super simple to cut. I am going to go through to continue and show you what settings I use for cutting. I'm using 300 GSM glitter cardstock, so I'm going to need something pretty hefty to cut through that. I am using my deep point blade today, and that's just because I'm using this glitter cardstock, and it is an actual glitter, so it needs something good to cut through it with. I'm going to be using the poster board setting. It's a setting that I use for the majority of my cuts these days. It just works really well. It works smoothly, and I always get a really good result with it. If you haven't got poster board as one of your bookmarks, if you just click on the browse all materials here, you'll be able to go through all of the different materials that your machine is capable of cutting. You can always type into the box as well and search for it that way, or you can come to all categories and choose which category you'd like to look at. I am going to look at artboard, and there's my poster board setting. If I select it from here, I'll get that little green tick, and I can click on done and go through then ready to make. So I'm going to set all my mats up, get all this cut out, and once it's done I'll come back to you and we'll put it together. All of the pieces are cut now then, so what I'm going to do is get my screen on so that I can see exactly where each piece goes. So I'm just going to line everything up the way that it should be. So let's center that. Let's get that up there, and we will center that horizontally as well, and then this in the bottom. And again, let's do this. I could have done it all in one go. I made a meal of that really, but never mind. So that is what we are working with. And then let's come back to the main screen now. Here are all the different pieces. So we're going to start off with this white glitter piece and this turquoise glitter piece, and we are going to just glue them together. So let's just put a good old wiggle of glue around the outside, and I like to just do a big wiggle up the centre. You don't need to go mad. There we go. Just pop that on there. Make sure it's relatively straight. Okay, that is fantastic. That is how that looks. And then what we're going to do, let's just move some bits out of the way. These are all the pieces, so let's move them over. So we don't want to lose any of these pieces. So we're going to start off by just placing everything roughly where we think it's going to go. So we're just referring to the picture on the screen all the time, and we're going to put that there. This is going to go in the centre, and then the G on this side. What I might do, I think, is put the orange ones down first and then the green bits around the outside. Obviously it's not straight, but it's a rough idea at the moment. And then all of the letters coming across. This looks really cute. I love the colours, they're just so vibrant and bright. Okay, not straight, still looking good. And then we've got the name underneath. I'm not going to place that because they're quite delicate, but that is roughly what we're going for. So if I remove these, I am going to get a ruler, and I'm going to measure across that centre just underneath with my ruler. And I'm just going to I can't even speak. I'm just going to find the centre of this card, so it's roughly there. Let's get some glue on the back of this one. And pop that dead centre there. And then that is going to be my first point that I'm going to be able to reference everything from, because that is in the centre at the top. I can just double check roughly. That's dead on 6.5 centimetres either side, so that is perfectly centred. That's not bad, is it, really, for doing it by eye? Let's grab this piece next, and this is quite delicate. It's one of the reasons why I really like these needle nose bottles, because they make it nice and easy to apply glue to really thin pieces of card. So let's do that. And then this will just go on around that piece. There we go, lovely. Let's get the G. Now again, I am referencing everything on the screen, so what I think I might do, I know I said I was going to put the orange bits down, but what I'm going to do is match up the bottom corner of the I with the bottom of my G, and I'm going to just put that there, and then I'm going to glue that down and then put the orange bit in the centre. And I'll do the same then with the B at the start. So again, just roughly pop that down so that bottom of that I is in line with the bottom of the G. It's a little bit more turned, I think, than what I want it to be, but I actually quite like that look. We can always turn it back a touch. Good thing about the glue I'm using is that it does dry clear, so you won't see it at all on here. Let's glue this one down next. And the whole time I'm doing this, I am referring on the screen here to my design, just so that I'm making sure I've got it all in the right place. Same with this B, so we're going to go so that that is at the bottom of there. Okay, now looking at the design, the T again needs to be in the centre, so that is the centre letter. So I'm going to start there and work my way out from the sides with that. So let's put the T down first of all. If you can't put it down yourself, you could grab a pair of tweezers and just use them like I'm going to now. Let's put that there. We just want to make sure now that each of our letters is spaced more or less evenly. Don't forget, it is a handmade card, so it's not going to be like it would be if it was printed. Oh, there's my R attached to me. Still attached to me. Again, referring on the screen to what I've got in front of me to just make sure that it's more or less where I want it to be. Using tweezers as well is a really good way of making sure you don't get your glue on your fingers, because it's not nice if you get the glue on your fingers. Just press that one down. Use the O. The whole time just referring to my picture on the screen, making sure that everything is nice and placed in the right area. Next we're going to do exactly the same thing with the name underneath. Now that we've got all that put together, the last thing to do is to pop it onto our card. So we are going to just place it on here. I was thinking about using the 3D pads maybe, but I've decided against that, and I'm just going to glue it down flat. I'm really impressed with how this has turned out. The colours look so nice together. Let's glue the back of this again. A nice big wiggle around the outside. And then let's just do a big wiggle in the middle. And stick this on. Again, we're doing it by eye, so as best we can, getting it nice and straight. I didn't check that I was opening the card the right way actually. And you just give that a nice press down, and that is all done and ready to go and be given to Carter with his little Moana and his little Maui gifts that we've got for him as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe. Drop me any questions or comments that you've got down below, and I will always answer you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye!